When are y'all gonna listen to me? When are y'all gonna listen to me? So, on First Take recently, Stephen A. Smith said Coach Prime should be in consideration for the Alabama job. Let's talk about it. He knows he's not getting the job. Kalen DeBoer is going to get the job. Probably by the time you see this video, Kalen DeBoer is named the head coach of Alabama, or will have already been named the head coach of Alabama. But let's talk about why he's doing that and why you shouldn't be so mad at me about what I say when it comes to Prime leaving Colorado after the 24 season. Let's talk about it after the bumper. What is going on, everybody? What is going on, everybody? My name is JeffLightsyJr. This is the Victory Formation Sports Show right here on JeffLightsYr, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you get your content. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe, and the notification bell because I upload all the time. Now, Stephen A. Smith went on First Take and said Alabama should hire Nick Saban. Now, we know Stephen A. is a friend of Coach Prime, of Deion Sanders. We know Deion Sanders is not going to get the Alabama job. I mean, it's just it doesn't. They couldn't justify hiring Deion Sanders after a 4-8 season. Like even with it being Deion Sanders, they just couldn't justify hiring a guy who's only been a coach for 3 years and only been a Power 5 head coach for 1 year. And coming off that 1 year going 4-8, they couldn't just. It just doesn't make sense, right? Like, and honestly, I'm not sure if culturally that is a fit. Now, you could have said the same thing about Colorado. He made it a fit, right? And so that's not to say he couldn't do the same thing at Alabama. Regardless, it's not happening. Anyway, the reason why I'm making this video, because it's not that I think Prime is going to be the head coach of Deion Sanders. It's not even that the fact that I care that much that Stephen A. said that Deion Sanders should be the next head coach of Alabama. It's just what Stephen A. is doing is proving my point. Let me play for you the clip from First Take. I'm a fair use, by the way, fair use. I'm going to play for you the clip from First Take about Stephen A. saying, well, if I can play the clip, Stephen A. saying that Deion Sanders should be the next head coach at Alabama, and then tell you why this is significant in this whole grand. So, for some reason, my video isn't working, but let me just go ahead and show you from Awful Announcing via First Take. It says, who should replace Nick Saban in Alabama? Stephen A. Smith says, Coach Prime, quote, go ahead and be happy in Boulder, Colorado. God bless you. I was there twice in my life, and the only reason was for him. And so this brings up a grand scheme of thing. As you see, it's buffering. We've got bad weather here. It is what it is. But here's the overarching point that I'm trying to make and why this is significant. This won't stop, guys. Just want to let you know that this will not stop with Alabama. We know really Prime just isn't qualified to be the head coach after Nick Saban in Alabama. But this won't stop. Stephen A. Smith did the exact same thing with Texas A&M. Now, once again, the same rules apply for Texas A&M that they apply for Alabama right now. What I'm saying is, though, he's not qualified right now, right? In January 2024, he's not qualified. What about December of 2024? What about in 11 months after his son, Shedeur Sanders, and Travis Hunter declare for the draft and are going to be top 10 picks? What about after they go 10-2? Or 11-1, or in my prediction, possibly 12-0 in the Big 12. Will he be qualified then? The answer is yes. The answer is yes. I made this exact same point in my last video with the hiring of Devin Reese-Press from FAMU. Devin Reese-Press is an ace recruiter. Now, some of you guys were commenting, how's he an ace recruiter? He's never landed an ace recruit. One, he has landed multiple ace recruits. He landed guys from the transfer portal that played in the Under Armour All-American game, not 5-6 years ago, like 2 and 3 years ago, right? The same type of players that are going to Colorado this year. He landed those at FAMU. He helped FAMU 3 straight years and win 9 or more games, including the 2023 Celebration Bowl. Now, some of you, that might not matter to you. It clearly matters in the grand scheme of things, because if it didn't, Coach Prime wouldn't have hired him in Colorado. There's a lot of guys that recruit the state of Florida. There's a lot of guys with Florida connections. Hell, Coach Prime himself is from Fort Myers. You don't think they're lining and played at Florida State? You don't think those guys would be lining up to coach with him or be a part of his staff at Colorado? And he didn't choose them. He chose Coach Devin from FAMU because he understands the impact that that young man can have, or that man can have, on his staff, not just at Colorado, because this is a long-term play. This isn't just a Colorado play. And yeah, he didn't get the Texas A&M job. He's not going to get the Alabama job. That'll go to Kalen DeBoer, more than likely. But what happens when that Florida job pops open in November or December because they went 4-8 and 5-7 with the Gatorade National Player of the Year and DJ Lagway? The quarterback's already built in there in Gainesville. Now you have to recruit them and keep them from going, hitting the portal and going to, I don't know, somewhere like Alabama, right? And play for Kalen DeBoer. But the play is there. And Stephen A is not going to stop this. And he understands. And who has the biggest microphone in sports media? It's Stephen A. Smith. People are listening, and he's really putting it in their minds already. Prime is leaving Boulder. Here's the thing about Deion Sanders, whether you want to believe this or not, as someone who's had brief interactions with him, if he didn't want Stephen A to go on there First Take and say that he should be the head coach of Texas A&M or he should be the head coach at Alabama, he would stop him from saying that. He would call him and be like, hey, Stephen A, hey, man, I know that these Bama jobs, A&M jobs, XYZ jobs are hopping open. I know you feel like I should be the head coach there, or they should do it because of the recruiting prowess, my name, who I am, et cetera, et cetera. But don't put me in that. It makes it awkward for me up here in Boulder. It makes it weird for me in the AD Rick. You know what I mean? Like, let's not do that. Because you know what? Coaches do that type of stuff all the time, especially when they're friends with big-time reporters like Stephen A. Smith or big-time media personalities like Stephen A. Smith. But you know what he hasn't done? Exactly that. Prime is calculated, guys. This isn't by accident. Everything that he does is calculated, including, in my opinion, allowing Stephen A. Smith to go on ESPN First Take airwaves and saying that he should replace Nick Saban and listing the reasons why he should replace Nick Saban. Because those same reasons, coming off a 10-2, 11-1, 12-0 season in 2024 at Colorado, will be the reasons why he'll be the next head coach, in my opinion, at either Florida or Miami. Florida just makes the most sense. They don't really like Billy Napier. They didn't really like him when they hired him. He hasn't had any success besides recruiting. And then even that this year was horrible. Besides getting DJ Lagway, they lost a ton of big-time recruits. It's just really setting up. The SEC just got harder, adding Texas and Oklahoma. It's just setting up for Billy Napier to have another miserable season and to get fired maybe even before the season ends. And to step right in there is a Florida legend. Fort Myers' very own, Florida State's very own, Deion Coach Prime Sanders. I'm telling y'all, man, like I'm telling, it's just really setting up too perfectly for it not to happen, because they're going to have a really good year in the Big 12 at Colorado. The only teams in the Big 12 that I think can mess with Colorado right now, Arizona maybe. Who is a better quarterback in the Big 12 than Shedeur Sanders? Because you got to remember, Texas and Oklahoma leaving the Big 12. Oklahoma's quarterback may be an 8th-year guy in Casey Thompson, or 7th-year guy, whatever. He was recruited in 2018. That might be their starting quarterback. So he ain't even better than Shedeur Sanders, even if they were still in the Big 12. And they have Jackson Arnold, who's a special talent, but that's different. And Texas and Quinn Ewers and Arch Manning, they're off to the SEC. Nobody has a better quarterback. And if they keep them up healthy with those receivers and a Travis Hunter who will be a top 5 pick, Shedeur Sanders will be fighting for a Heisman and number 1 overall. Been saying this. They're going to have a great year, and it's going to be justified. Like, teams will be firing their coaches, the teams that qualify, not everybody, for a chance at Deion Sanders. But the job that is just boom, 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 it's just wide open to me, that just like makes too much sense, is the Florida job. Now, Miami makes a lot of sense too, but Mario Cristobal is an alum. He hasn't been good. He hasn't been great. He hasn't been really good. He hasn't been horrible. He's been okay. He's been borderline horrible in their standard, but Miami hasn't been really good for a long time. So, like, in those standards, he hasn't been horrible, and he's recruiting well. Billy Napier is struggling on the recruiting trail. He's been horrible, and they're set up to have another really, really bad year. Prime just hired Devin Reese-Press. Who knows the state of Florida as one of the ace recruiters better than Devin Reese-Press out of FAMU? and Devin Reese Press was getting high-level players to come to FAMU. They won 9 or more games 3 straight years. What will he be able to do with the University of Florida logo on his shirt with Coach Prime as his closer? Come on, guys. This is why Stephen A keeps doing this, because one of those Florida jobs in the SEC or Miami in the ACC, Florida, University of Florida, Miami is going to pop up after the 24 season. Prime is going to be a head coach in one of those places, in my opinion. This is just what I think. This is not sourcing. This is what I think. Stephen A knows it as well, because if Prime wanted him not to go on ESPN and say that, he wouldn't do it. Stephen A is the executive producer. He chooses all the topics that go on, or has final say in the topics that go on First Take. He could have said, nah, we're not going to talk about Prime in Alabama. But no, we're not going to talk about Prime in Texas A&M. But no, he's doing it to configure you for you to get ready when Prime does leave. No matter what he said, I don't watch those other channels. I don't watch the DNVR. Shout out to those guys, and I know they do a good job. I don't watch what's Bucky's channel. I don't watch those. So I don't know what he's saying on those channels. I can imagine he's saying he's going to be in Boulder forever, blah, blah, blah. Stephen A just went on TV and essentially dissed Boulder on ESPN because he knows. He knows this will be his last year. Him, Shannon, all the celebrities, Mari Hardwick, Chauncey Billups, all those guys. This 24 season will be their last chance to hang out in Boulder if they want to, because Prime will be a resident of either Gainesville or Coral Gables come the fall of 2025. I'm telling y'all, man, the play is being set up from the hires that he's making to the comments that are being said on national TV. Just watch. Y'all got mad at me in the last video. I'm telling y'all, just watch. Don't believe me? Just watch. I've seen this happen. I've been covering college sports for a while. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Stephen A. Smith says, Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, should replace Nick Saban. We know that's not going to happen. But what are your thoughts on this being Coach Prime's last season in Boulder? My name is Jeff Lightsy Jr. This is the Victory Formation Sports Show right here on Jeff Lightsy Jr. YouTube, Facebook, and everywhere you get your shows. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button before you get out of here. Like, share, subscribe. Also, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at JLightsy7. That is on Instagram and Twitter at JLightsy7. Thank you guys for tuning in. I will see you next time. Peace.